Good guy, that Mike Garafolo. As you know, this week it's American Thanksgiving, or as we in Canada call it, Thursday, and we've got a triple header of National Football League action. But Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network, there are some question marks in terms of injuries in these three games. Let's start with Cincinnati. They're facing the Ravens. The good news is Joe Burrow is expected back. The bad news is one of his major targets may not be in the lineup.
No, definitely not. T. Higgins going to be out after Jamar Chase missed last week because of a suspension. Now Joe Burrow comes back, and he will have Chase, but he won't have T. Higgins because of a concussion. They have already basically ruled him out for this game. Trey Hendrickson on the other side of the ball as well, a hip and pelvis injury. But Burrow comes back. Look, it's going to take a miracle at this point for the Bengals to get to the postseason, Jay. They're going to pretty much have to run the table. They're 3-8. They're going to have to get to, let's say, 9-8. And just the next three games, Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, just getting through all three of those unscathed, probably unlikely. So Burrow coming back just to make this sort of feel like not a lost season. And maybe Zach Taylor making a statement as to why he should continue as the head coach. Remember, he fired his defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, last year. A lot of times that happens, and then the head coach is the next one to be in the crosshairs, so maybe they get some momentum going. They got to get better on defense. We said that coming into the season. That certainly played out. So Bengals and Burrow back on the field against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson back to practice, by the way. He's had hamstring, knee, ankle, and toe injuries. It's just general soreness. He's going to be taking off Wednesday, or the first practice of the week, and then practicing the rest of the week, the rest of the season. Elsewhere on Thanksgiving, George Pickens is back to work for the Dallas Cowboys. There was maybe some concern that he might not be available. No, he's going to be able to go along with CeeDee Lamb. Those wide receivers against the Chiefs cornerbacks, it's going to be a fantastic matchup to watch on Thanksgiving. And then Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs running back who's been out for a while, he is coming back to be that physical presence that you need this time of year. The Chiefs also added Dameon Pierce, the veteran, former Texan, to the backfield. So they know that they need to get this backfield going. Pacheco has that physicality. It's run the ball weather, Jay, and getting Pacheco back going to be huge for Kansas City.
All right, so that's Thanksgiving, and then we look forward to the weekend. Baker Mayfield, this is a big question for the Bucs. He's had a little bit longer to heal up from that injury to his non-throwing shoulder that kept him out of the second half of last week's game. Do you see him getting healthy enough to play this weekend against the Cardinals? Because this team is allowing that division lead to be kept wide open at this point.
Yeah, and they have to be super relieved that the Panthers lost the other night, because that would have really turned the pressure up on them. They've got a softer schedule once they get down the stretch here. But as for Baker Mayfield, I got to be honest, coming out of that game, I'm thinking, 4-week injury or so? That's what it sort of seemed like. And then all of a sudden, it sort of turned within the next day, and he got the test. And frankly, I was asking people today down there, do you think he's going to play on Sunday? And they said, yeah, we do. Now, it's not guaranteed. I'm not guaranteeing it, and they're not. We have to see how the week goes on. But I'll tell you what, if it's a pain management issue, because remember, it's his non-throwing shoulder, if it's a pain management issue, you know that dude is going to battle through it. So that is a huge... Not really yet, because he's not in it in the lineup just yet. They have to see how he goes, but certainly a huge turn of the tide for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who really are looking to get healthy in the next couple weeks. Mike Evans is not a long way away. He'll be back in action soon, along with Jalen McMillan, the fellow wide receiver, and also Kalijah Cansey, their former first-round pick from a couple of years ago, the defensive tackle. That's a big part of what they do on defense. I'm told he's ahead of schedule from a torn pec, so the Buccaneers going to get healthy down the stretch here. Remember how dangerous they looked early in the season. If they get back to full strength, that's a team you don't want to see come into your building in January.
And then later in the day, you have Sam Darnold getting reacquainted with his old team, the Minnesota Vikings, a team that has, to put it kindly, had some quarterbacking issues in his absence. J.J. McCarthy's in concussion protocol this week, Mike. Could it be the rookie Max Brosmer getting the start for the Vikings?
It very well could be. And this is another one for J.J. McCarthy that was sort of weird. I mean, concussions are sometimes weird timing, but like it gets through a game, you think he's fine, and all of a sudden an injury pops up and you go, well, not that you say a concussion is a good injury. None of these injuries are good, but maybe another step back for him. And like, how many of these are we going to get through before we say that J.J. McCarthy needs to get on the field, stay on the field, and continue to play well here before there's a really, and I've mentioned this to you before, a really difficult conversation that they're going to have in Minnesota after this season about his future at the quarterback position, who they have to bring in. They didn't want to do it coming into this season. They wanted to give him a clear runway to be the starter there, and it's sort of come back to bite them because then they had to rely on Carson Wentz, bring him in late into the process. And McCarthy's been out a couple of times now. You talked about Brosmer going to get thrust into action. It's pretty clear now at this point the Vikings aren't going to the playoffs. It's really all about how J.J. McCarthy plays down the stretch and whether this team, again, has to have those hard discussions and start looking for more long-term or even short-term options while they figure out the long-term at the quarterback position.
Mike, is there a non-typical Thanksgiving dish that you would like to add to your meal on Thursday?
Non-typical Thanksgiving dish that I would like to add to my... No, you see, I grew up in an all-Italian neighborhood, and a lot of folks in our neighborhood, a lot of families, had pasta courses like lasagna and something. I'm like, how can you eat that and then go, yeah, bring on the 20-pound turkey after that? So we didn't do that. But we had, my grandmother used to make this soup. She's passed away now. It's my aunt and my mother that do it. My aunt really takes the bulk of it there. It's like a baked egg and meatball soup. You get it once a year. Ooh. It is fantastic, and that's the part that I wait for every single year. I don't even, at that point, like you fill up on the soup and you go, I don't even care. I'll get the turkey and everything else tomorrow. Give me the soup today.
Wow, that sounds incredible, Mike. Could use some of that right now.
It's
Enjoy
unreal.
it. Enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy your U.S. Thanksgiving. It's still a very highly ranked Thanksgiving in our minds. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, my friend.
Thank you, Jane. By the way, I always want to add whiskey to any meal, not just Thanksgiving.